There are a few pretty big names that are now being investigated for, sexual assault during these said auditions. He had given me a brand new phone that had his Apple ID connected to it, took my phone and was able to take pictures of me from my camera roll. Before he came into your life, you had the worst life you could ever imagine, like possibly ever having. One time and one time only got physical with me, and that was enough for me, and I left. I couldn't even hang out with girlfriends unless he was around, but that's because he was probably hitting on them. We had a threesome at the beginning of our relationship. He took me by the back of my hair and smashed my head against the dashboard. I got 2 black eyes in the end. Both of my teeth are chipped, my 2 front teeth. He ripped it off and didn't actually hit me with it, but was die, literally telling me to die.
Welcome to Unattainable. We're glad to have you with us and hope you continue to be a part of our family for the foreseeable future. And if so, please hit that subscribe button. I am Mohammed Malay here with our newest guest, Juliet.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. Please introduce yourself, where you're from, what you do, and how old you are, so on and so forth.
I am Juliet. I'm 25. Where I'm from? I'm from Santa Cruz, California. I have been in the adult entertainment industry for the last year, acting. Did I miss anything?
And you're actively doing that now?
Yes, I'm planning on doing that until I turn 26, so a year from last Sunday or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, only planning on doing that for another year. Will be going to school during that time as well. And
for what?
So I'm going to esthetician school in Denver.
Okay.
Excuse me. Yeah, so I will be doing that starting this year, and then also going along with the adult industry stuff. I'm trying to get out of the acting side of things, and since I just kind of know the ins and outs of everything, I'm going to be more on the back end and starting a studio myself. So me and a friend of mine in Denver actually will be having that kind of finishing up what we need to get done to start actually having models and doing the thing probably towards the end of the summer. So I've been working on that for the last 8 months. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so doing a few different things.
Tell everybody how you got into this.
So doing the actual mainstream porn industry stuff and acting. I'll back up. I had an OnlyFans since 2020 is when the pandemic started, mm-hmm. Correct? So I moved to Mexico. I was living in Hawaii, and I couldn't get a job there, just, or whatever, at that place in life. So I signed up for OnlyFans, and I, surprisingly was doing pretty well off of it, and not even, not really promoting it at all publicly because, it was such a brand new thing. But so I've been doing that for, I guess about 5-ish years. And I recently got out of a relationship with someone that's been in the industry for 18 years. So the last year and a half, pretty much, I started, and I was able to get pretty good connects to kind of jump the hurdles of, a lot of girls have to go through a lot of BS to get to a certain place in terms of having agents or even just getting a job. And I didn't have to experience a lot of that stuff. So I kind of just had easy access into it when I started doing that. But as a whole, getting into sex work, when I was 18, I moved to LA. Actually, I was barely 18. And I met this guy off of Tinder, and he completely catfished me, just totally different human. And long story short, he had abducted me for about 3 months, and I was sex trafficked during those 3 months. And so that was obviously not by choice, but it's how I got into the world of all of this. Yeah, I mean, of course, no, I don't wish it upon my worst enemy, but definitely shaped a lot of how I view the world and how open I am, I think, and how non-judgmental I am as a person. And I really like that. So I try to take positive things out of it. And I had a great first year in the industry. I got my first cover on Hustler magazine. And that was within, my first 6 months I did the shoot. And then my very first scene I ever did actually got an award at the AVN show this last year. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's how I kind of the gist of how I got into things.
Okay, so
a lot of info there, I know.
Yeah. So let's back up about something that you said. You said that the girls have to go through a lot of BS. Yeah. When they start in the porn industry. What does that mean?
So there are, not just a few, there are quite a few companies that require girls to, quote unquote, audition to be with their agency. So for them to be their agent and get them work to go with another company and get paid to do a scene, they want to have sex with you first and see if you can actually act. Mm-hmm. This isn't every company. I don't want to put out a 1000% stigma that this is how it is, because I've worked with a million amazing companies, but I do know that being, usually how it goes, I started when I was 23. So, but I hear, and I know a lot of girls that are 18, 19, they are just really brand new to it, and they don't have the guidance that I had of being with someone that's done it for pretty much 20 years, and knows everyone and has gained their respect too. But yeah, so I've heard a lot of horror stories from girls and them personally, not just through the grapevine, and no assumptions either. But so that's kind of what I mean. Yeah, just kind of a lot of unfair behavior and just in term I don't know. It's kind of the main thing.
What are some of these horror stories you've heard?
There's, again, I'm not going to name names, but there are a few pretty big names that are now being investigated for, sexual assault during these said auditions and things like that, or just, inappropriate behavior, girls that are not of age. I've actually heard, not even just on the quote, they call it the straight side of the industry, but knowing friends that are gay porn stars, it happens on that side as well. So there's a lot of, so I wanted to back up actually and say that it's not just towards women. It is on both sides of all of it. But I don't know.
So what does that go like? Let's say you go for an audition.
Yeah.
And then the person who is the agent or the producer or whatever, they would tell the girl, tell you that you have to audition first. And in order for you to audition, you have to have sex with me.
Right.
And so that's, so, okay. So if it's for sex work, and the work requires you to be able to have sex, how is that audition an unreasonable ask?
So the difference between saying, I will take you on as an agent and get you work with these companies where you're going, signing consent forms, signing a lot of legal documents, and going over, every little thing. And if they don't, then you don't. You gotta. Yeah, if you don't, then you shouldn't be working with them, and you honestly should walk away. And I've had to do that a few times. But that's the difference. That if you're and that's what I've been told. Again, I haven't actually experienced this for myself, and I want to reiterate that again. Sure. I've heard from multiple different people from different sources, but that's they'll. Yeah, sorry, it pisses me off, to be honest with you. I'm thinking about the stories of these different girls that are 18 or barely 18. And I honestly, I wanted to kind of touch base what I just said about the gay side of the industry with things. Because oh my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm going up. I have so many things going in my brain, and I'm trying to bring this topic back that was like on the gay side of the industry, but I'm forgetting.
Well, forget about the gay side of this industry for now.
Yeah.
Because we'll get there.
No, I know you're.
So for the time
Forget
being,
about it.
Yeah, just don't think about that. Focus on the stories that you've heard about the females and what they've told you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of. I don't want to get into anyone's like personal stories either. It's kind of. Well, I mean,
just you don't have to tell their names, but
yeah, no, I mean, I don't know, not much more than just like, I don't really have the details of what exactly they did during an assault of things, but basically just, yeah, and also coercion of like, well, if you do this, if they say, I have no girls that have said no, I don't feel comfortable doing that. Which, yeah, that is the difference, because you're not signing away and legally actually working for a company, getting tax forms back at them. Like it's different. You're not actually working a legal job by auditioning to work with an agent.
Sure.
That's someone just to work like as a business partner with too, So, yeah, sorry, that to answer your question, that is what I would say is the difference. That there is no back end legal anything that is saying that this is right to, or actually a reasonable ask at all, or a fair ask at all if you're going to be doing business with someone. Okay,
so the way that I look at this is that when you're going to, let's talk about regular acting or regular modeling, right? If you go to an audition, they require you to do a scene, and so you would have to audition for that scene,
right?
Which is you will have to reenact the scene that they have written for you, right?
So the difference is that you're auditioning to work with an agent, not for like a role.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure. Sure. Yeah. But even to that regard, if an agent wants to sign you in the acting world, right?
Yeah.
They would ask you to send them reels. They would ask you to send them some form of experience that you have when it comes to acting. So when somebody's starting out, how are they gaining that experience?
Well, so how I know that people that are not requiring these things and that I've worked with, and I'm not with an agent currently, but I've temporarily, as in like for a few days, tried out a couple. But basically, they're basing it off of your socials. So, like the not safe for work ones would be being X, and then like OnlyFans platforms, ManyVids, like content that you're able to see, or they can request it as well. Which I feel like, yeah, I mean it goes. And again, like I'm gonna say it again, I have not experienced this myself. So sure. Like you asking me these questions, like. It's just an outside perspective of what I've heard from other people. Right. Just want to be super clear. I don't even actually know. Like, I'm not a lawyer. Because I haven't come to these problems myself. I haven't gone down to the nitty gritty of things. So I don't. Yeah. But I just wanted to answer the part of like the why it's kind of different.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the time that when you moved to Mexico, was that when you met the guy on Tinder, or was that before?
That was after. So I started my OnlyFans. So 2018 is the Tinder guy, and I moved to Mexico during the pandemic.
So that's when you had turned 18,
right?
And then.
Turned 18, yeah.
Sure.
I was very sheltered too growing up, so I was like, oh, I'm 18, I never had a fake ID. I was like, I can finally do this. And I just knew nothing. I knew no street words.
What did you want to do porn and OnlyFans when, like, prior to turning 18?
I had never really thought about it. I mean, I knew I wanted to model, and I guess what high schooler high school girl doesn't want to be like a Victoria's Secret model, you know what I mean? So like it wasn't like that, like it was a dream of mine. Like I'm not like, Mom, I want to be a porn star when I grow up. But I mean, I definitely, I did like fashion, streetwear, lingerie and bikini modeling for 5 years, and kind of still sometimes throughout all of this. So I definitely had dabbled, I guess you can say, in the more raunchy side of things when modeling. But I mean, OnlyFans was kind of just a separate thing to me, honestly, because it was more private and I wasn't open about it. And then when I decided to do mainstream adult acting, I was like, whatever, I'm out there now. So I started just, I don't even really promote it that much on like my Instagram or stuff like that, because that's more like my friends, and like I'm like posting my dog and all that. But I don't care if I do or if those people know about it, because I just what I do.
So you turn 18 and then you went on Tinder, and then you meet this guy.
Yeah.
And how does that turn into you getting abducted and sex trafficked?
So yeah, I mean, feel free. I'll give you kind of. So I've spoken at a few like freshman orientations for a few different universities in California on the matter. So I will give you kind of what the spiel. I give the short synopsis, and feel free to ask whatever questions, because it is a very interesting topic. But so basically, I mean, it all happens very quickly. It was it's kind of sounds like just a horror movie in itself, like just perfectly set up. But tinted out car, didn't know really any better. I was in Calabasas at a friend's house, and I barely really knew this girl, and I was actually like stranded there because I thought she was gonna give me a ride back to Silver Lake, and she didn't, and I didn't have Uber, whatever. I couldn't get home. And I had been just messaging this person for maybe like an hour the day beforehand, and I was kind of just like, I need to get back to my house where my aunt lived. And I reached out to him, and he weirdly happened to be in the Calabasas area. He didn't even live there. He lived in Glendale, so it was kind of weird. But so just I get in the car, and the second that's happening, he's speeding off and is pointing something at me. I can't visually see that it's actually a gun, but very much this person is completely different race. This person is like just not the same. Isn't barely talking at all. Like just kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but just like the eeriest vibe of just like silence, but like just all this confusion. Again, like I'm 18, I had been sheltered my whole life. I didn't have any street smarts whatsoever. But maybe a 30 seconds to a minute goes by, and so finally I was like, I don't really know exactly what I said. I said something like what's going on, or who are you, kind of like almost like, did I get in the wrong car? But it was, and he just, when it wasn't even, he didn't really answer the question I asked. I remember that he just told me where we were going. And he had answered with, we're going to go make a bag. And at this point, like, I don't know what that means. I was so lost. I had no idea what he was talking about. I felt super unsafe, obviously, but I didn't know. I wasn't putting two and two together at that point, and I didn't for a while. But so we get to Hotel Indigo in downtown Los Angeles. And there is, we pick up some girl. Her name, I won't say her name, even though it's not a real name, but, some random girl from Texas, and she did not like me at all. She was super, super mad that I was there, and I didn't want to be there. So I was very confused by the whole situation. But so basically she gets in the car, he gets out of the car and checks in in the lobby. And I maybe give it like 10 seconds, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I felt more comfortable asking another female kind of near my age, like, who is this person? Who are you? Why are we here? I thought I was going out on a date with like some random guy named Matt, and like, who is this, And she was laughing at me, like just kind of in a rude, like you're super dumb way, like laughing at me, and wouldn't answer. And so I kind of, I don't know, I think I didn't start like crying, but I was clearly really freaked out. And she told me, what did she say? She said something about a bag again, and I was not understanding what bag we're getting. But yeah, so she said something about like a trick, and I again don't know what that means at all. And yeah, I think I can't remember exactly what word she used, but she used some random reference of like just going to, you know, see someone in the room. I don't remember what it was. There's a bunch of really weird game slack, they call it, but like slang terms. But yeah, so I kind of then in that moment in the car right before he gets back in to grab us, realized like, oh, I'm at a hotel. They're talking about making money. This person is, yeah, okay. Like there's like some like pimping going on right now. And I, again, was so sheltered. I don't think I even understood what pimping meant to that, like to what degree, like, but yeah, so I get escorted by him inside. And a lot of people ask here at this part of the story, like when I went in public and I saw the people in the lobby, why didn't I say something? I didn't say something, at least at the beginning, because when he picked me up, like I didn't know if he did or if he didn't have a gun, and I wasn't going to put everyone else's life in danger, not knowing who this person is, what's, you know, going on. But yeah, so basically fast forward to the first night. Yeah. Just quick and simple. He had, you know, given me, a brand new phone that had his Apple ID connected to it, took my phone and was able to take pictures of me from my camera roll. And I remember he specifically said, don't worry, I'll Photoshop your tattoos out. And I was like, that makes me feel a lot better. Oh, good. Okay. So yeah, so he got pictures and was basically, I gathered, was making an ad of me. And yeah, so after like a little bit, him and this girl were just, yeah, making this ad and started using like Google Voice or something like that to reach out to people or message people that were reaching out online. And at this point, I then flat out asked him, I was like, what is going on? Because you haven't said a damn word to me, and I'm clearly uncomfortable and scared and whatever, but I want to know what's going on. And again, like the girl started laughing and he started laughing a little bit. And he told me that I was going to meet a couple people and then he proceeded to tell me how I'm going to do it. And he told me things like, okay, well, when he's going to pay you, don't take it from his hand. Make sure he puts it on the table. Because if you take it from his hand and it's a cop, then they can get you right there. Like things like that. Like really, really bizarre tips and tricks and all these things. And I remember telling him like excuse after excuse after excuse, like from I'm on my period to I don't want to, like, can I leave? Just everything I possibly could. But it wasn't just like, it wasn't a situation I felt like I could just walk out, even though he was saying things like, yeah, I think he was making excuses back. And the last thing he said was, it's the oldest profession in the Bible, so I shouldn't feel that bad about it. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I think that was what made me just like give up. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I have to endure this. And I just mentioned saying something about me literally saying, I'm on my period, I can't do it. I remember saying that, and he goes, oh, well, shove makeup sponges up there and you're good to go. Like, there's no way you're getting around this. Like, so it was a very controlled, you were just watched over everything you did. And yeah, so that was just the first night. And from then, I thought I was going to be able to manipulate my way into getting dropped back off at my aunt's house. But when my aunt was not home, when I was able to get there, there was not a safe way for me to just stay in the house and be there. And so I was not able to leave for about 3 months. And when I did, I was in an airport, actually. I was in SFO, and I'm from Santa Cruz. So Santa Cruz is like a little bit south of San Francisco, maybe like 45 minutes if there's no traffic, like the quickest. And again, it was like a little, almost 3 months. And I didn't know, I thought we were just going straight to Seattle, but there was a connecting flight, stopping in San Francisco. But again, I didn't know any of this because I just didn't get any information whatsoever. And when I heard it on the loudspeaker, I didn't have any like checked luggage or anything. I just had my stuff above me. I literally took my bags and I ran off the plane. And I threw the phone in the trash can. I knew he didn't have a weapon on him because I was in an airport. And that character running after me, and especially what I was wearing at the time, and just the whole image was not good if he was going to chase me down and try and stop me from getting away. So I felt that it was, and yeah, I mean, you see human trafficking signs everywhere in the airport, and which I very much appreciate all of that. But yeah, so threw the phone in the trash, went to security and called my sister. Literally said, like, you can ask me all the questions you want later, but please get me an Uber to wherever you are right now. And she did. And so, for the 10, maybe 15 minutes, I was waiting for an Uber. He was kind of like lurking around me, telling me things like trying to convince me to stay, but then also telling me, like, putting me down and saying that I'm like under his control and things like that. But I wasn't scared at this point anymore. I was actually raising my voice, like, wow, do you have, like, literally saying, like, do you have something to say? Like, share it with everyone, because you don't, like, I'm not scared of you anymore right now. So I was able to get away, without the phone and being located and all that stuff. And yeah, I was able to I found a couple, women from, a church I went to growing up, that they started a program. They're advocates for girls that are survivors of sex trafficking. And they helped, I don't want to say convince, they helped support me in reporting it. And it was a long process and journey, and it was hell. It was it was awful. It was heartbreaking. It was hard. But yeah, he did his time. And it's funny because I used to be so insecure, and I'd be like, I'm not a cop caller, like, if I talk about it, but I'm like, I'm not a petty person, but that's not a petty thing, Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's, I mean, I think that answers your question, is how it was.
Sure. So to kind of recap and to see if I understand this correctly, you go on Tinder, you find this guy, and then you go on this supposed date, and then it's him and another guy, you said?
No, there was another girl that we picked up.
Okay, so you picked up later on. Okay, so it's just him, and then you said he had a gun.
He was appearing to have a gun with the whatever was going on.
So you see him, but you don't recognize him as somebody that, like, you had matched on Tinder.
And it was like a super, super tinted out Beamer, and I literally opened the door, and that was when I could see even a figure at that point.
What made you sit in the car at that point?
I mean, continue sitting in the car, like, once I realized that he wasn't the same person.
Yeah.
Well, the car had already taken off.
Okay, so you sit, you realize it's not him, and then
I'm already literally. It's like and
then you're in a moving
car, and I'm in a moving car. Yeah.
Okay, and so you're thinking to yourself, this is not supposed to be what's supposed to be happening.
I had a billion questions, but didn't know where to start, and also was just like, I don't think I can ask any of these questions right now.
So then you guys pick up the girl, and then you take off to the motel at that point.
Yeah.
And then, so when you're there, you're kind of scared. What I'm trying to, I guess, piece together is at what point, because 3 months is a long time, and like, you just was he with you? Like, were they with you 24/7 or?
So yeah, that's another, actually probably the most asked question when I talk about this, because a lot of people don't know about or don't understand basically coercion, and how it might not make sense to a lot of people if you haven't experienced it, but I mean, I'm sure you've heard of like Stockholm syndrome.
Sure.
So in a way, it's actually, I experienced the other girl that I was telling you about go through that. She was literally convinced that this person was like a god, and if we did what he said and met the goals or this or that or the requirements, we would be good. Like literally, it was a cult to her or something. And if someone were to take her away from him, she would probably be heartbroken. It was kind of like that. But yeah, so definitely like mind manipulation of like just promising you things too. Like, so he promised a lot of things throughout the entire thing. So what does make it, I mean, obviously in that story, it's trafficking and pimping, but what actually legally does is that I did not keep a penny of that, which nor would I want to, but that's what I'm just saying as the context makes it that way, that he profited 100% off of that and all of us. But what kept the girls, or at least the other girl, and going, was that he would promise things like, oh, well, once I get X amount of money off of you, then I'll invest in getting you a car or this or that, or I'll make sure you can this or that. And then he also, I would notice, would like just dumb you down. And again, there were other girls that were picked up along the way too. So it wasn't just me and the one girl the whole time. But he kind of dumbed you down to like believe that you almost like you, like before he came into your life, you had the worst life you could ever imagine, like possibly ever having. And once he graced you with his presence, like, it's finally you have an opportunity, like this or that, like that's, and he really I saw him convince these girls of that, like, and yeah, so I mean, I don't know if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like,
was he also having sex with these girls?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I there was plenty of sexual assault going on daily. Yeah, and physical assault.
How many other
violence.
girls were there throughout like this 3 months? Do you remember?
So there was the girl I told you about and two others.
And then they were in the similar situation as you?
So one girl was in Texas and she was a dancer at a club in Dallas, and he kind of like prowled around clubs like that and would this, and yeah, I guess I wasn't even I didn't even see the interaction initially happen. I remember I was in the club and she just ended up getting in the car when we left. I remember that being so interesting to me too, because she was older than me, not significantly older, but maybe like 4 or 5 years. And at that point I was like, I knew everything that was going on, and I wish I could save any girl that got even near him. And I even tried to talk to her about it, like which you don't really get an opportunity to. And yeah, but I tried to kind of give her like get the fuck away from us, like run. And she wasn't getting it. Like, he was selling it as she was like gonna become some like model, like some fashion model.
Okay, so then at that point, once you get away, then you move to LA, correct?
I moved to Hawaii first.
Okay, so you moved to Hawaii, and then you did modeling there?
Yeah, I started modeling there. Yeah.
Okay. And then how long were you in Hawaii for?
I was there for roughly like 4 years. Also, I lived in Mexico for the pandemic, so yeah, for 4 years.
So at what point did you start sex work?
like doing the OnlyFans stuff. Is that what, like yeah, that was literally when I moved to Mexico, and like when right around the beginning of the pandemic.
So, but that was after this incident? Okay, so but what led you to want to do OnlyFans from that point?
Well, so there's a difference there. So that's like I'm the only one on my account. I know what I'm doing. I'm not even like nobody that at that point nobody that knew me had access to it. I don't have to meet with anyone. It's legal. And I had been modeling and doing like lingerie and implied nude modeling just for like for paid shoots too, but for like artistic shoots, and so I think that's what made me like just be more comfortable and like just okay.
And at that point you were like, fuck it, like
yeah,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't have a family I need to hide it from. I mean, I have a family. I don't have like a type of family that I need to hide it from. But so I guess like that's all that really would kind of keep me from wanting to be that. I mean, I'm not in your face about it, but right. I just don't. Yeah, I'm not ashamed of it.
So at that point, are you dating anybody or are you single? What's your relationship status at that point?
When I started my OnlyFans?
Yeah.
So I was dating, I was 2 years into my 4-year relationship in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah. So we dated for 4 years. It was after 2 years that I started the OnlyFans, and he was all about it. So
you started dating him after the...
It was about a year. Yeah. Yeah. You just caught me there. It was about a year. Yeah. So 2018. How
old you are? Just let's talk about how old you are because that's easier.
Yeah. So I was barely 18 when I met the guy on Tinder. 3 months. I'm still 18 when I'm out of it. I moved to Hawaii when I was just about to turn 19.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's 19. All in the same. Yeah. Kind of very close together.
And that's when you start dating this guy?
Yeah, right about. So I lived on Kauai for 3 months. Then when I moved to Oahu, I started dating him. So
got it. Okay, so around after. 19, you started dating this guy, and then about a year in, you start OnlyFans.
Yeah.
So right around when you were like 20. Okay. And then, how does he feel about you having OnlyFans at this point?
Oh, he loved it. He was
So he was encouraging you to have OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Okay.
He didn't I guess now I look at him like, in a weird way, but he was just supportive of it. I guess I would say more than he liked it, because it was something that I worked at a restaurant on Oahu, but I also just you're making more money doing that, obviously, doing OnlyFans.
And then why did that relationship end? I wouldn't say the age is the reason, actually, because I consistently date older guys, but how much older was he?
So I was 19, he was 38. I can't do math that fast. I'm feeling
he's 18 years older than you.
Yeah.
19 years depending on
something
if you were
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you were like 19, 20,
decades older.
Yeah.
That relationship ended. He was just, I don't know. I think, and no disrespect, he knows I feel this way. I don't tell it to his face to this day, but it was just, I don't think that we didn't. For a long time, I knew that it was I'm not going to be with you forever. I think I'm comfortable. And I was even honest with him about it. But in the end, he ended up only one time only got physical with me. And that was enough for me. And I left. And yeah.
So from 19 to 23, you're with him.
Yeah.
And he got physical with you at the end of it. And that was the only abusive experience you had
with him. Yeah.
But all the other parts of the relationship was good.
No, I didn't. He was annoying.
Why was he annoying?
honestly, like, I love DILFs. He was not that type of, like, guy. He was, like, a dad, but not a dad. But, like, the, like, dad, shut up kind of guy, you know? Like, why are you saying these things? Like, you're just being annoying. Like, stop making jokes that don't make sense. Like, stop singing the same song with your guitar over and over and over again. Like, I'm sorry, I sound like a bitch. It's just a personal thing. I absolutely I was just getting irritated at the end there. And
I mean, it sounds like you were like resentful and you wanted to...
I was resentful for not just because he was playing music annoyingly. He was he just tried, he liked to be with other girls a lot and tried to make that a part of our relationship, like make it like the type of relationship we're in, and it was not what I was about at all.
What do you mean by that?
He just, I mean,
like he wanted to be in an open relationship?
No, he didn't even want, like, I could, if I, God forbid, I even say hello to, like, one of my childhood friends, you know, that's a guy. I couldn't talk to any male. I couldn't even hang out with girlfriends unless he was around, but that's because he was probably hitting on them. But yeah, no, we had a threesome, like, at the beginning of our relationship. And I guess he just really ran with that and just expected it. Which, drove me to be very resentful. And
did you tell him?
I mean, I would tell him, but then it was also like a oh, but if someone comes over and if we're being social, then I guess we can go out and have dinner and get drinks or this or that. It was just like he made it more of like a quote unquote experience of things, and like I like girls. Like it's not like I was going and just like finding these girls. Like, don't get me wrong, and they all absolutely, if a girl came over and hung out with us, they knew way beforehand that they were coming to hang out with me and my boyfriend. And actually, my best friend to this day, I met her on Tinder originally because my ex was like, let's go have a threesome with a girl. And we had a threesome, and she's still my best friend.
Yeah. So that relationship ends at that point, and then where you're living?
I was on North Shore, Oahu. And then
So you're 23 years old, and you're in Hawaii, and he physically assaults you, and then you end the relationship. Yeah. And then where do you go after that?
I moved, I guess you could say back to, but I moved to Hollywood.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you moved to Hollywood, and then what do you do at that point?
Well,
you're still doing OnlyFans.
I was, but to be honest with you, when I left that relationship, I was so it was just such a transition and trying to figure out okay, I just left a 4-year life, and now I don't know what I'm going to do or where I want to go, or, I had a lot of opportunity. I just was lost. Yeah. I just wasn't, and I also wasn't sure, where I'm going to, consistently live or, build my own, sanctuary, or if I'm going to have, a room to myself to do OnlyFans. And I didn't for a while, so I wasn't doing it, but... Yeah, when I initially moved to LA, I was very, very fortunate to meet an amazing friend group that took me into one of the model apartments and really helped me out at a time that I couldn't even come up with a deposit. And they didn't expect that of me at all. Just kind of had the empathy and compassion of what was going on, of what I just told you. And I fucking made some best friends through that. And so I did I kind of just did the Hollywood figuring things out, moving to LA, partying thing for a while. I worked a few different jobs, actually not doing OnlyFans for probably a year, maybe a year and a half. I worked for a social media company, a super small thing, maybe a couple of years ago. I was working in the streetwear industry for a friend's company, a couple different companies. I was working for a couple different hip hop artists, and I worked at a hair salon. So I did quite a few different things.
And then at what point do you start porn?
I started, so mainstream, like find it on Pornhub or on the, just looking it up, February of 2024.
And so, okay, so that at that point you're 24 years old.
Or no,
still
23, about to turn 24.
Okay.
April,
So end of 23 years old, basically, right before you're about to turn 24, you start doing porn. Is that before or after you meet your
most recent ex?
other ex? Yeah.
Gosh, so many boyfriends, huh? I knew him actually for about 3 years prior. He was married. And I met him through just a mutual friend in the industry. I mean, I wasn't in the industry at that point, but, yeah, so I started dating him, and then probably a week into dating, we went to the AVN porn convention in Vegas, and when we went to go do that, we ended up literally living at a Caesar's Palace in the Cosmo for 4 months, and I started doing porn when I went to the AVNs, I got it was maybe 4 or 5 different agencies asking me to sign with them, and yeah, like I said, I was so set up with like connections and just kind of fast forwarding the process that I was like, why not? Like, I guess I can. So yeah,
So you were exposed to the industry at that point through him because you guys go to the to the event, and then so you're like, okay, let's just do it.
Yeah.
And so tell us about that experience, just overall your relationship, and then how it all went.
Yeah. So the relationship was short-lived, emotion-packed. Yeah, I guess we just I guess us being in that industry, we kind of neither of us had ever been with someone that shared that and was, accepting of it. And so I think we kind of held on to that a little too hard, that it was like, oh, but we get each other, like we can this and that. And we also like were so convinced, because we were so alike, like to the T, that I think we were trying to convince ourselves that it was like no, we just understand each other more than it's gonna explode. And it exploded, of course. We were just way to the T alike. But it has, and just didn't mesh well when we didn't. But so in the end there, unfortunately, I was unaware of a lot of the drug use that he was having. For I couldn't actually tell you how long. I couldn't tell you if he ever stopped, because I know he had a problem in the past before we were ever together. But only recently it came to my attention, probably January, that he was using some pretty heavy drugs. And beginning of January, I was hospitalized. We were driving to the airport. I was dropping him off, or he was driving, but I was going to drop him off because he had a couple scenes in San Diego. And we were, I don't know, it was early in the morning. We were kind of bickering, and I was telling him to slow down because he was just going too fast and jerking me around. And when I told him to slow down, he missed his turn and just was mad and started, cussing at me, calling me all the good names. And when I didn't really react how I normally do, where I'm like hurt or this or that, I kind of just started laughing, and I was like, if you're like, I don't know how, like, are you really gonna get that upset over you missing a turn? Like, and he didn't like that I was showing laughter as a response. I guess it was kind of condescending to him. And he took me by like the back of my hair and smashed my head against the dashboard. It was like a dent in my forehead. And we kind of like, back and forth. I mean, me trying to get him off of me, or me actually get out of the car. We were kind of grabbing at each other back and forth, and like in a moving car on the highway. It was terrifying. But finally I'm like, just go, take me home. Like I'm not, you know, and he had missed his flight. And so we're about to get to the apartment. This is in Vegas. And I jumped out of the car. Like, it wasn't going fast or anything. I jumped out of the car so that I could get into the apartment, because I had the fob for the car to get by. So if I went in by myself, he couldn't get in then. So I wanted, like, just to be safe. So I ran in. Somehow he got in after me anyway. And when he came upstairs, basically it was a verbal back and forth. And I got 2 black eyes in the end. Both of my teeth are chipped. My 2 front teeth. I had a concussion. Wasn't the worst, but wasn't the most minor. And yeah, he strangled me till I was out. He's facing I think it's 4 counts, 4 felony counts of DV, strangulation, and then what was it? Attempt to assault with a deadly weapon. So that was just like the most pathetic deadly weapon, but scary. So like in our half bathroom we had, like, the toilet seat was like, you know, when they come loose kind of, it's just kind of like sliding. So it was sliding kind of, but he like ripped it off and didn't actually hit me with it, but was like, die, like literally telling me to die, and went to bang me over the head with it. And he didn't actually. I was like already, you know, couldn't fend for myself at this point. So he ended up leaving because I think he realized I wasn't gonna just be quiet about it anymore, because that wasn't the first time he ever did it either. It did happen a few times, but that was just the worst one. So yeah, I called because I actually needed like medical help, and they ended up taking me to the hospital and did so it's kind of it sucked because I did all what I needed to do to get like examined and that I was fine and all that, but there's only one forensic nurse in Las Vegas to do what they call a strangulation exam, which is basically the evidence backing up your just hearsay that he did it, because it's only my word against his. If they do the forensic exam, they can actually see and have that physical evidence that something happened. But she was literally in court for the next 6 hours, and they told me to go home and they'd call when she's back, and they never called me. So it was, that sucked, because it was like, I think you have like X amount of hour or like X amount of days, and they just never got back to me, and I was never able to do it. But it doesn't really matter in helping my case anyway, because I get called like 20 minutes after it happened, and you know, already, I mean, he went to jail. They arrested him. He had went back to the airport, and they arrested him there. He had someone bail him out the next day. And then he was on an ankle monitor for a while, and was like trying to contact me. Well, so there was a TPO, so he wasn't legally allowed to contact me, but he was trying to do so by, he took my iPad that is connected to my iCloud. He was trying to take pictures on my iPad that would connect to my phone. So if I went on my camera roll, I'd be able to see it. But yeah, he was writing some pretty horrendous things, and was threatening to kill me and kill himself, and he was just extremely suicidal, and I don't know, just simply convinced me to not show up to the not the arraignment, but the court hearing afterwards, and so because I didn't show up, I don't want to say it was closed, because it's not. Now it's very much apparent, but it was shut temporarily until about 3 weeks ago when he got physical with my animal, with my little wiener dog. And this is when I found out he was doing another drug that was making him really aggressive. And my Oliver was chewing his Louis Vuitton beanie, and so he decided to physically punish him for that. So that's when I got up and left. I got all my things, all my belongings, And yeah, I had my friend pick me up. I left, had to go back with a police escort 2 times, was able to get everything, took myself off the lease, threw the key away, goodbye. Yeah.
Okay. And so, okay, throughout the relationship with him, you said that it had happened multiple times.
Yeah, he had been physical with me. He takes testosterone, but he doesn't take it regularly. Mm-hmm. So he's not like a consistent, like, this is, and he takes way too much when he does take it. So his hormones are it's just so imbalanced, and you already like, roid rage is a thing, not with everyone, but especially if you're not doing it correctly, you're most likely gonna be.
So then, was that what you were excusing for his behavior, or like why?
I found out about the drugs, I was excusing it with that. I still say that now because it is a factor as to, like, there's some kind of reason as to why a human could act that way, but absolutely not excusing the behavior in any way, shape, or form.
So then why stay with him for so long, for as long as you did?
I mean, that's a great question. To be honest with you, if you couldn't tell from just having this conversation, I really know how to pick them, but no, really, I haven't had good experiences in relationships with guys. And I mean, not to say that I'm just like this little angel getting, no, I've been an asshole too. Like I don't want to excuse that or act like I'm all good, but yeah, I think maybe I'm honestly, I was kind of exhausted. I was like, I'm tired of not that I was like wanting to be tied down. I was just kind of like, I found a person that whatever, I guess I'm tolerating and this and that. And I was comfortable. I'm not trying to sound like a bitch. I'm just trying to tell it how it is. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I didn't like I said, I love you to him and I was faking it the whole time. I really did feel that. So there was emotion into it, Mm-hmm. Maybe it was only 2 years, but we did build a life together. So I don't know.
So was him being a porn star a factor of why, and like his connections and just your ability to sort of stay in the industry a factor of why you stayed in the relationship?
No, not at all. No, I couldn't care less what he did, or I'm never with someone for what you do or how much money you make or who you know. Mm-hmm. I think, yeah. Like I said, I was really good friends with him for like 3 years before we started dating. So mm-hmm. Kind of one of those kind of things, you know a person so well. And then, and he also, he was always married. He's still married. They never got divorced. They were just, they just didn't live together, but so.
And he is, so just sort of knowing your history, so he is not a straight porn star.
No, he's a gay porn star. Yeah. Okay.
So was that ever a factor in you dating him?
Like, did I date him because he's a gay porn star?
No. Was it ever a question of like, oh, like how, like you're doing gay porn, how are you straight? Or like, does he, I'm assuming he says that he's bisexual.
He says he's like bi or pan, but then like when he's with me, he's like, no, I'm gay for pay. Like I'm not gay. I'm not gay. But he's a gay porn star. Yeah. He's pretty well known on that side too, if you're a gay man that watches gay porn. But yeah, I don't know.
So but did you ever question it?
No, I didn't question it because I guess I just didn't. Like I wasn't questioning if he was faking like being attracted to me. Mm-hmm. So like he was at least bisexual. And if he was, that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so I didn't really think to question it because either way I wouldn't have like cared.
Mm-hmm. And like throughout the relationship, I saw you post like a bunch of different stuff on your social media with regards to like people coming after you.
Oh yeah.
So what was that all about?
Yeah, no, like actually I mainly post about it because it's funny to me. I don't ever really feel threatened because it's 99% of the time they're foreign, but they're gay men that are really big fans of my ex. And there was for about I want to say like 6 or 7 months there, it was like a thing, like it kept happening that I was getting emails. Like I had a business email connected to my Instagram and my ex account. I was getting emails, and then I was getting, DMs from all different platforms, and they'd be like accusing me of immigrating from Sweden. So I'm Swedish. Like on my dad's side, he's Irish, Swedish, like a bunch of stuff, but like primarily Swedish. And then like my mom's Polynesian, whatever. So I put in my thing that I'm Swedish Polynesian. These people are literally convinced that I'm from Sweden. I was born there, and I immigrated here for the sole purpose to steal the gay men, because I did a few scenes with bi scenes. So it's like with 2 bi guys or 2 gay guys or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so because I was kind of trending and doing that for a minute, like they were convinced that I like came from out of the country to steal the gays. Yeah. So that's what I was mainly referring to when I talk about people coming after me. They do get like I've had some death threats, but again, I kind of think it like, not that it's funny, but like it doesn't bother me because I'm kind of like, we're really getting up in arms about this, and I'm, they don't even know like half of the context, Mm-hmm. But there's also on the other side of things, because he's well known. There's lots of articles and public speculation on our relationship and our individual lives, especially since this whole thing in January. Someone leaked out to a couple blogs what happened, and they were able to track down the public records and all that stuff, and so there's been updates and yeah.
Before we move on to a couple of other questions, do you have any other thing that you want to say with regards to the ending of that relationship?
Do I? No.
Especially because you had mentioned there was a lot of public drama, so I want to make sure you.
Yeah, no, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
Good riddance.
Uh-huh. All right, so a couple questions. What do you consider cheating?
What do I consider cheating? Like in a relationship? Yeah. If the 2 people having a clear, discussed, mutual agreement that you are in an exclusive relationship and you don't see other people, or, and that could even go as deep as being like, and usually it goes this way, that like, yeah, like I don't want you messaging some random girl or Snapchatting some random chick asking for nudes, like stuff like that too. If you've had that mutual agreement and it's been discussed and you go against that, I consider that cheating.
Okay. So essentially anything outside of the boundaries of a monogamous relationship that you've talked about. Mm-hmm. But what if you haven't talked about it?
Well, if you haven't talked about it, I feel like then that's kind of on you. If you have a question as to, is this okay with you and your feelings, and you're in a relationship with someone, I feel like you should have the respect to be able to communicate and ask them that question. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like their answer, then there you go. You can leave or you can stay.
Got it. Okay. And final question. Mm-hmm. Does size matter?
Yeah.
What's a good size?
Bigger than my ex-boyfriends.
You said bigger than your ex-boyfriends? You said ex-boyfriends. You mean both of them, or you mean ex-boyfriends? Okay. So because they had
not all of them. Not all of them.
Okay. Did you mean this last one?
Yes, him too.
Okay. Does he have a small penis?
It's below average.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Is he a top or a bottom?
I think he likes it both ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting because my assumption is that most men porn stars are supposed to have bigger penises, but that's not the case in this.
Yeah, he likes to he holds on to this one. He goes, yeah, a lot of the girls I film with, they say that I have boyfriend dick. And I go, what does that mean? And he goes, well, it's like not too big. I'm like, oh, it's not too big. Okay, that's boyfriend dick. He's proud of that. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Is it, so it sounds like he's a little insecure about it.
Oh no, he's the biggest narcissist I know. I don't think he's insecure about anything, but he'll totally try and play it off.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you were great. Thanks for your honesty and your openness.
Always, yes.
And I wish you nothing but the best in the future adventures.
Thank you.
Definitely will have.
It's going to be fun.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.